situated on the eastern coast of Spain, in Alicante, close to the East Mediterranean Sea. In the heart of the city, Christians and Moors lie in their graves. Minstrels and poets have sung about the city, which is known throughout the world for the turrón, the most delicious Spanish sweetmeat. It is told in the book of Sigüenza by Gabriel Miró. And Jijona appears suddenly, climbing up the ridge of the mountains. Their whitened houses look like doves nestling in the bushes. Since 1720, the members of the Sirvent family dedicate themselves in this city to the making of turrón. The 10th of April of 1725, the title of founder of the Turrón house was given to Francisco Sirvent Soler by royal decree of His Majesty Philip V. March 11th of 1824, Juan Sirvent Candela, then set in a little factory, received the title of Turrón master by royal order of Ferdinand VII. In the old days, turrón manufacturing was homemade. First, almonds were selected and cracked by hand. Once selected, they were scalded in a large basket or hamper so that the peeling would be easier. When the almonds were peeled and toasted, they were put into a big kettle with egg whites, honey and sugar, and were mixed without interruption with a special shovel. When the mixture was ready, it was put into mortar for pounding, and from there it went to a grinding stone where the turrón was given its final touch. In 1880, Manuel Sirvent Soler mechanized the factory. 10 years later, he was the furnisher of the royal house for the Infanta Isabel Alfonso de Borbón and for King Alfonso XIII and Queen Victoria Eugenia. He founded factories in Guanabacoa, Cuba, and in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then succeeded in exporting his product for the first time. Years later, in 1910, his wife María Dolores Selfa García created the trademark of Turrones El Lobo, the wolf, and established a factory in Santiago de Cuba. Following the family tradition, Juan Antonio Sirvent Selfa, son of Manuel Sirvent Soler and María Dolores Selfa García, gives fame to the trademark El Lobo, the wolf, and devises and commercializes the formula for Turrón 1880. He builds a big factory in Jijona according to today's standards. Constructed the most sophisticated methods for manufacturing with all the controls, packing and distribution facilities required today. At the present time, our factory is one of the most visited in Jijona. Around 400 tourists come to see us daily. Besides our Turrón Museum, they can admire the typical folk dances of our country. Once they have seen the dances, the tourists visit the factory where the process of manufacturing of the turrón is explained to them. The green almonds are collected from the almond trees. Once collected, they pass through the process of peeling and drying. Once the first selection is made, they go on to the peeling process. The almonds enter the big strainer, and there they are distributed through a chain of containers where they are calibrated by size. They are passed from the calibrator to the reception strainers, and from there are conducted to a washing machine. Once the almonds are washed, they go to a scalding machine where the hot water makes peeling easier. From there, they go again to the peeling machine and to the drying machine through the reception strainers. From the drying machine, they go to the cooler so that the almonds won't clog. Then they are tossed to the selection machine where they come out to the selecting bank in case there are pieces of almond skin and so on. Once peeled, the almonds pass on to the toaster. From the strainer, the peeled almonds go through a pipe and end up at the kettle to proceed with the toasting. This process lasts around 60 minutes. When the almonds are ready and toasted, they are taken out of the fire. The mix is made in the mechanical process with honey, sugar, whites of eggs and almonds. The honey and the sugar are tossed into the small amount of boiling water that is in the boiler. After letting it cool for a while, the whites of eggs are added to whiten the product. The mixing goes on for a few minutes. When the mix is ready to go into the machine, the toasted almonds are added. After that, immediately two workers proceed to the final mix. When perfectly mixed, the product is removed, and there we have the Imperial Turrón. If we want to obtain the Jijona Turrón, the mix passes to the cold tunnel. The mix is laminated so that it can pass later slowly on the chain to the tunnel where it is cooled off and cut. When the mix is already cut, it falls from the tunnel to a kettle. From there, it passes to the mill and to the refiner. The mill grinds the mix for a few minutes, and when it is well grinded, it is removed to be taken to the refiner. Once refined, it is deposited in special pots where it will stay for 4 hours, boiling at a temperature of 80 degrees approximately. When the Turrón master sees that it is ready, he adds some pieces of almonds to obtain the granulation. This elaboration is completed with the shovels, and the Jijona Turrón finally goes to the molds. The Imperial Turrón is not as hard to make as the Jijona Turrón. It goes directly from the boiler to the molds after being weighted. The mold is pressed before being passed to the chopping. Once weighted, the Jijona Turrón also goes from the pots to the molds, where it has to settle for a few hours before being cut. The molds of the Imperial Turrón go to the saw, which cuts them automatically and symmetrically, turning them into tablets with the same size and weight of 150 grams. From the saw, they fall to the refrigerating band. Once they are passed through the fans, they cool off before entering the packing chain. However, the 1880 Turrón is hand-cut when the molds have obtained the desired consistency. The Imperial Turrón tablets are introduced into the packing band for their first wrapping in foil paper. After the first wrapping, the tablet passes on to a vacuum closing to obtain a better conservation. The 1880 Turrón has the serial number on each tablet. Afterwards, the tablets go to the carton machine, putting them one by one into boxes. Once the net weight of the tablets is controlled, they are wrapped in cellophane. They are sealed and packed to be distributed. We also manufacture frosted fruits, sugar almonds, candied pine nut kernels, Turrón with roasted almond caramel, chocolate Turrón, egg Turrón, toasted egg Turrón, and so on. Like in all industries, the controls are strictly checked. All our workers go through strict medical inspection to ensure a complete asepsis. make sure that our ingredients are of the best quality. In our laboratories, we check that the tablets are perfectly closed so that the preservation is perfect. The percentage and quality of almonds in each tablet is also carefully controlled. We check the hygiene too. The factory is perfectly clean. Just like the workers' uniforms. Just as well, we also check the tablet's weight in different kinds of manufacturing process. Therefore, we have succeeded in not having any leftovers in our production. Throughout these last years, Juan Antonio Sirvent Selfa, S.A., has obtained a great number of prizes which confirm its quality. 7 international trophies for its quality in Europe, 10 for nourishment, and Master of Popularity in 1980. Also, several international prizes for exportation to San Juan, Caracas, Santiago de Chile, etc. Several of these prizes have been collected by the managing director, Mr. Juan Antonio Sirvent Arroyo. Nowadays, we export to the United States, Japan, Australia, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, and many other countries. We are known all over the world. El Lobo, the wolf. What a great Turron. 1880, the most expensive Turron in the world.